Have you ever noticed something strange about the way people talk about cows? When someone points to a black and white animal grazing in a field, they usually say, "Look, a cow." But have you ever heard someone point and say, "Look, a female cow"? Probably not. That's because many people grow up thinking that every member of the species is simply called a cow. And that leads to a surprisingly common question. Are all cows female? Well, in today's episode of The Story of Animals, we're diving into a question that has confused people for generations. Are all cows female? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Of course not. If all cows were female, the species would have a very serious population problem. Yet the confusion is understandable because the word cow is often used casually to describe any member of the cattle family. In reality, the term has a much more specific meaning. A cow is an adult female cattle that has usually given birth to at least one calf. That's right. The word cow doesn't refer to every cattle animal. It specifically refers to a mature female. The males have different names entirely. An adult male cattle is called a bull. Bulls are generally larger, more muscular, and often have a reputation for being more aggressive than cows. If you've ever seen videos of people running away from an angry bull, you'll understand why nobody mistakes one for a giant puppy. But wait, we're not done with the cattle vocabulary lesson yet. Young cattle are called calves, whether they're male or female. Once a female calf grows older but hasn't had a calf of her own yet, she's known as a heifer. Meanwhile, a young male may eventually become a bull, or if he is castrated, he becomes what's known as a steer. Yes, cattle have enough job titles to rival a corporate office. Imagine walking into a pasture and introducing everyone properly. "Hello, cow. Nice to meet you, bull. Good afternoon, heifer. And how are you today, steer?" The cattle would probably be impressed by your attention to detail. So why do so many people think all cows are female? The answer comes down to language. In everyday conversation, people often use the word cow as a general label for cattle. It's similar to how some people call every tissue a Kleenex or every photocopy a Xerox. The specific term becomes the catch-all name. Movies, cartoons, books, and advertisements don't help much either. Most simply refer to cattle as cows, regardless of whether they're male or female. Over time, people absorb that habit without realizing the technical distinction. The confusion gets even stronger because female cattle are usually the animals most people encounter. Dairy farms, for example, primarily raise female cattle because only females produce milk. This leads some people to assume that every milk-producing animal they see is just a generic cow, which isn't entirely wrong, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Speaking of milk, here's another fact that surprises many people. Just like humans and other mammals, cows only produce significant amounts of milk after giving birth. The milk exists to feed their calves. Dairy farming carefully manages this natural biological process, so milk can also be collected for human consumption. Interestingly, many other animal species have their own gender-specific names, too. Male deer are bucks, while females are does. Male chickens are roosters, while females are hens. Male horses are stallions, while females are mares. Humans seem to enjoy creating complicated animal naming systems, perhaps just to keep future students busy. But among all these examples, cattle may be one of the most misunderstood because the word cow is so commonly used as a blanket term. It's one of those facts that people often discover later in life and immediately think, "Wait, how did I never know that?" The next time you're driving through the countryside and spot cattle grazing in a field, you'll know something many people don't. Some of those animals may indeed be cows. Others might be bulls, heifers, steers, or calves. From a distance, they may all look similar, but technically they aren't all cows. And honestly, the cattle probably appreciate the distinction. Imagine being called by the wrong name your entire life. "Excuse me," says the bull. "I've spent years becoming a magnificent example of bovine masculinity, and you're still calling me a cow." Fair point, Mr. Bull, fair point. And that's what makes nature so fascinating. Sometimes the most interesting discoveries aren't about exotic creatures in distant jungles. Sometimes they're about animals we've been seeing our entire lives and realizing we never knew their names as well as we thought. Now it's time to see how much you've learned from today's episode. We've got 3 fun trivia questions coming up. Ready? Let's start. Question 1. What is the correct definition of a cow? A. Any member of the cattle species. B. A young female calf. C. An adult female cattle. D. An adult male cattle. The correct answer is C. An adult female cattle. A cow is specifically an adult female cattle, usually one that has had at least one calf. Let's try another question. Question 2. What is an adult male cattle called? A. Bull. B. Heifer. C. Calf. D. Steer. The correct answer is A. Bull. Bulls are adult male cattle and are generally larger and more muscular than cows. Let's move on to the last question for this episode. Question 3. What is a heifer? A. A male calf. B. A female calf that has not yet had a calf of her own. C. A castrated male cattle. D. A breed of dairy cow. The correct answer is B. A female calf that has not yet had a calf of her own. A heifer is a young female cattle that has not yet given birth. Great job if you got all 3 questions correct. If you missed any, don't worry. You've just learned some fascinating facts about cattle and the difference between cows, bulls, calves, and heifers. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.